Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. Glad you're here with me. This whole Mercury retrograde experience has been a real challenge in a lot of ways for me and for a lot of people. And so I forgot to post this for this past week. So here is this content for this week, and I'm going to be talking about fear or faith. If you'd asked me when I was 20, in my 20s, what faith was or what faith is, I can't be certain that I would really know how to answer that. I mean, I would have been able to intellectually share the answer with you probably, but it wouldn't have been a real sturdy, real life experience response. Fast forward 30 years to now, and I can tell you exactly the difference between faith and fear. If you look back on your life, I would imagine that you could very easily identify the times that you were scared shitless about what the future held, even in the next moment. And I bet there are many of you who are still experiencing that scared shitless feeling almost every day, carrying around a tremendous burden of uncertainty. And on a regular basis, I meet with people who come in to find some sort of relief from the ongoing and relentless experience of fear. Some of my clients feel like they're stepping from one pile of shit to another, and they can't seem to find a place where they can clean off their shoes and rid themselves of the stink that they've accumulated over time. It can feel overwhelming to have a belief that nothing in your life ever works out the way you wished you had. And it's interesting, so many people come to mind. Unfortunately, I see people on Facebook. It's a great example of people kind of pouring their hearts out, pouring their fears out in order, I guess, not to be alone, but also to get some support, but who are very negative, moaning and groaning about how this doesn't work out and this doesn't work out, and one thing piles up on the other. And I can't help but tell myself, if you could only change your mindset, you wouldn't keep seeing evidence of all the stuff that you think isn't working out. It can be easy to let life roll all over you and take you down, and it can be very easy to give up and believe that no one cares or would notice if you vanished from the face of the earth. It's a horrible, horrible way to feel. I do my best to help my clients realize how damaging those kinds of beliefs can be on the quality of their lives. Most, if not all, of my clients intellectually know that having beliefs that undermine their success really does harm them. And most have been living in their shit so long that they've become accustomed to the stink. When a new client comes to work with me, one of the first things I tell them is this, and I'm telling you, I swear, hand to God, this is what I do all the time. I'm not like any other therapist, and I say that humbly. I know that. I'm not interested in hopping in your shit boat with you. I really am not, and I won't do it. It's not going to help you at all. There are a lot of therapists out there that just process the same stuff over and over and over again, and then you spend years and years and years in therapy making relatively no progress because the therapists don't know what they're doing. Rather, I tell all of my clients it's time to get out of your shithole and start living your life with possibility and promise. It's time to change the way you live your life that includes shifting your belief system about almost everything you ever believed was true. I'm not a therapist, like I said, that processes things to death. And I am not a therapist who needs to re-traumatize you with your painful memories. That's for other therapists to do, like I said, who don't know what they're doing and who don't have this capacity and skills to give you what you need to truly help you rise up to yourself. The best kind of therapist you can have is somebody who can touch on the experiences that led you to believe that you're alone, undeserving, helpless, and then yank you out of that space by challenging those long-held beliefs about yourself and your potential, and then helping you adopt a strength-based approach to your life, in spite of who in your life that tells you that you can't succeed or you shouldn't try something out of your comfort zone because they're scared of their own shadows. Just know that when people tell you you shouldn't, don't do it, it's their own limitations that they're putting on you. And you have to tell them and know you can't take that on. Faith or fear. Yep, that's what we're talking about today. We all know what fear is. Whether you're trying to hang on to your job, your marriage, or your life by a thread, we can all clearly connect with the alarming emotion of fear. Faith, though, is completely different. It's a completely different space to occupy, completely different feeling to do. Remember, we all do our feelings. You can't experience faith when you're fearful. You can't experience joy when you're focusing on sadness or grief. And you can't imagine possibility when you're in a state of helplessness. You cannot experience anything good when you practice anything bad. It's impossible. I remember giving this faith thing a try years ago. I can't say that I was a total believer all those years ago, but I felt that I was between a rock and a hard place at this particular point in my life. I'd hit rock bottom in my 30s. And as I've talked about before, I was a very angry woman. Resentment from parts of my childhood piled up really nicely. And I had my middle fingers up to the world all the time and everybody in it, never knowing that holding space for anger rather than peace was creating a whole slew of experiences that would culminate in a powerful surrender moment to me once I hit my threshold. I'd almost destroyed almost all of my friendships, and I'd done a pretty good job with some of my family members too. And the thing was, I knew it. I was fighting a battle inside me, where my independence and inner strength was in direct conflict with how I was raised. And y'all, I was about to blow up. Until one day, I realized that living the way I was living was costing me too much. Too much happiness, too much energy, too much valuable time living in beauty. And instead, I was living in my shithole. I remember I made a pivotal decision one day that would change my life. I decided to take responsibility for my life and stop blaming my parents and all the other shit that happened to me in my life that caused me pain. I decided to say, is done. And I'm going to choose my mood. I'm going to choose my emotions. It was on that day 20 years ago that my life began to take a different turn. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired and being angry. I hated who I was. Somehow I was finally hearing the guidance that had been knocking on my door for so long, begging me to step through the opening into a newer and sweeter life. Fear is believing that you're helpless to change your life. And there's so many of you that are listening that live in that space. It's as if you think there's no other way to turn, that you can't pivot. You're stuck. Dead-end jobs, crappy relationships, physical limitations. And yeah, those are real challenges, and I don't mean to minimize them, but they're just challenges. And in all honesty, fear lives in your mind, even if you've experienced some crappy things. I don't disregard your pain, like I said, so please hear me. But I will not condone you choosing to live in pain when there's so many other wonderful emotions that you can practice and do instead. Fear is believing that there is nothing more than what you would have experienced. It's believing with what all those scared and controlling people in your life have told you to believe about yourself and your life and your potential. Fear is accepting that you are limited and inadequate. And I want you to hear that. Fear is accepting that you are limited and inadequate, and it's a lie. Faith, on the other hand, is an understanding, not a belief. Faith allows us to stop holding everything and everyone outside of us accountable for the quality of our lives. 1,000,000 times a day, people choose what side of the fence they stand on, fear or faith. And if you give yourself the opportunity to stop bitching about what's wrong in your life and start focusing on what good is in your life and what's possible for you, I promise you, your life will change. I promise you, your life will change. When I began to think about what I wanted to share with you today, I thought about talking about this ridiculous word called authenticity. Such a heavily used word, and in my opinion, it means literally nothing to me. It's like one of these code words: empowered, truth, authenticity, all those bullshit words to me. When you live in faith, you're already living your truth. You're already living authentically. And you're already living in flow. When you live in faith, it's a truth that each of us has the opportunity to experience. Living in faith means that sometimes you need to just chuck your bullshit ideas about your pain into the fuck it bucket and live a life that unfolds naturally for you, where you choose to believe in the good stuff, regardless of the evidence that's in your life that might support your negative beliefs. Like I said to you, you can find evidence of anything in your life, and you can create evidence of anything in your life. Try this. Today, I only want you to focus on seeing white cars as you drive. I don't care what model they are, but just commit to seeing white cars and then take note of how many white cars you actually see throughout the day. I give you this exercise because faith is much the same way. You aren't able to predict exactly what will happen. Nobody can. But you know that wherever your focus goes, energy flows, and you draw to you what you focus on. You program your mind. Faith is the substance of things unseen. It is the knowingness that there is a power out there bigger than you could ever imagine that has a huge hand in how good your life can be. Faith is the understanding that what happens in your life is not only a condition of your belief system, but also that everything that happens in your life is a teaching moment for you. Growth opportunity. Faith is an experience of grace. So how do you get out of your shithole long enough to rinse off with some good smelling soap and a fresh change of clothes to experience it? It takes a moment. That's it. When you get sick and tired of drawing in shitty people, shitty experiences, and practicing shitty emotions, you're going to be faced with a choice: to die or to grow. You have the capacity to choose to focus on one good thing in the sea of the crap that you feel like you're in. When you choose to grow, you're going to look at and back at your life and realize that everything in your life is there for you to learn from and become a better person for, not to suffer. I don't know how many people I tell that to all the time. Life isn't happening at you or to you. You're not a fucking helpless victim here. You are a full participant in your life. We're all here to learn, grow, and teach others. It's that simple. Even the shittiest of experiences, the worst traumas that you can think of that you've experienced, can be an inspiration for yourself and for others as long as you rise above the actual experience of them and figure out what's inside for you to exploit and learn from and help others with. We are here to serve. Most people don't get that. They just think you're here to struggle and suffer and be a workhorse. It's not true. You have a choice every day to set the intention of how your life will be. Every day you wake up and say, today my life will be good. The meeting will go well. And even no matter what happens in a meeting or anything in my day, it's all going to be okay. I can handle it. No one's holding a gun to your head to be negative or to be Debbie Downer. So stop acting like somebody is, like you have no choice The beautiful thing, sweetheart, is that you are the common denominator in your life. And if you feel like your life is shitty, then you have the power to change your life. You and no one else. Quit blaming your past. Quit blaming the trauma. Quit blaming the people in your past and anything in your life now. No one owes you anything. You make your own way, just like I have, and just like the next person. You work hard to change your life. The blaming stops here and now. There's so many people that come from shitty backgrounds, crappy experiences where they have ended up with nothing on the streets. If you have a roof over your head, you have food to eat, you have a job to go to, even if you hate it, you could change your life. People who have nothing have changed their lives because they can't live the way they're living anymore. Fear or faith. You get to choose how you live your life. And if you can't figure out how to do that, find somebody who can help you. You are not here alone. There is one person at least on the face of this earth that can support you and help you and who gets you. Find a therapist or a coach who can help you make different choices and work through the patterns, the mindset, beliefs that you hold on to that keep you believing that you're stuck. Unless you're somebody who enjoys being in pain, and trust me, I know these people. I've seen them. They get more return on their investment to be a victim and in pain than they do to make their own way and recover. If you get some sort of return on it, for remaining in a crappy place in your life, then you get what I'm talking about. You get a payoff. But if you want to experience the cool side of the pillow, like I talk about, come out of the shithole. Rinse off, take a rest, and let the universe help you reformulate your life. Focus on the good. Do good. Be mindful of the thoughts you have that pull in negativity and focus on what you do want only, not what you lack or fear you won't have. Been there, done that, y'all. That's why I could tell you from the bottom of my heart, I know what this is. Vibrational alignment is everything. I've talked about it a million times. You can say all the mantras you want and your life will not change at all if just underneath the surface you believe you don't deserve better. Faith over fear is everything. I pray that if you're listening to this and you are ready to experience the good in life, that you will make a change in this moment to only focus on what you want in your life. If you're living in mess in your house, take action. I remember watching just recently this admiral who was speaking at a graduation ceremony for college students, highly decorated. He was one of the SEALs. He was on the SEAL team. And he talked about the brutality, the brutal experiences that these people go through who want to be SEALs, the highest capacity of people to help other people out when times are tough. And one of the things that he said was, the very first thing is so important for you to do. It's just one action. He said, get up and make your bed. And he went on to explain that action starts to trigger other actions. You make your bed, you clean your house, you go to work, do your work. And it's almost like this ripple effect. And then when you come home, guess what? You come home to a made bed. That's the first task of the day. It sets in motion everything. So don't ever tell me you're waking up and you don't know what to do to put order and clarity in your life. Don't tell me that you don't know what to do to bring about something positive. Because when you're stuck in your vacuum of depression or sadness, I'm telling you, the key is to go out and do something for somebody else. Somebody who has less, because there's somebody who has less than you. When we get stuck in depression or sadness or helplessness, we are so focused on self that we can't get out of the shithole. That's what the shithole is. So go give of yourself to somebody. It will change the trajectory of your day and, God willing, the trajectory of your life. Faith, when coupled with a focus on the positive, along with taking calculated actions to achieve what you want, is the best way to live. I'm sending you love today if your life is hard right now. And I mean that. I think you know that. And if you believe I can somehow help you take the first step, reach out to me. I'm here. Or go talk to a friend, or go find a therapist or coach who can help you take that first step that, like the Admiral was talking about. You will start taking responsibility for your life. Make your bed and see how the rest of the day unfolds. I'm sending you love. I hope you have a great day, a fantastic week. And as always, live intuitively. If you haven't yet downloaded the 3 forces that shape your life on my website, janisrcohen.com, please do. If you find that these episodes help you, I have people all the time reach out. I've listened to this one, that one. They kind of go all over the place to find out which episode will help them. Please go ahead, hop on iTunes, rate and write a review. Fortunately, we're about to hit 60,000 downloads, so I'm really, really excited. And I send all of you love from here, me in Atlanta, Georgia, to everybody around the world who is taking the time to listen. Many blessings.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.